Namaste and good evening to all of you. First of all, great welcome to my dear friend and brother, the Dr. Deepak Deshpande. Welcome, Didi.
Hi, Raj.
So lovely having you. And while of course we had the opportunity to meet up just about a month back, it's great to
Yes.
see you once again on this, looking as youthful as ever. Okay,
Good.
so folks, welcome to one more edition of Mana Wellness More Than HR Wellbeing Dialogues. All right, and this is one more in our ongoing series. And some of you have been there for several of them. Thank you so much. In case you missed few of the earlier one, don't worry. We are going to publish some of the lessons from them in a short time from now, just in a few days. But for now, let's enjoy this evening session. All right. And it's going to be fun. I can guarantee you that. A quick intro. I never introduce anyone through the biodata. Okay. Because for me, the individual is more important than the CV. And
Sure.
so all I can say is that I've known Deepak, or DD as he's called. Sometimes we call him DDD, which is now Dr. Deepak Deshpande. Uh, I have known him now probably for close to 20 years. Okay. And I must say that, of course, many things have got added, both of us. And let me assure you, I'm not talking about the weight. But in terms of our learning, in terms of our wealth of experience, but what hasn't changed is the mindset, the attitude, the smile, the friendliness, the gregariousness that Didi carries about him. And I would say that you will get a lot to learn today about his attitude towards life. Because if there's one thing that I've picked up from him, and I can say in an assured way, is that I have never seen him without a smile. So, बहुत rare है वो time when you will see him very serious. Okay, so we'll find out. And that to me, by the way, is the first sign of someone having wellness. तो वहीं से
Wonderful.
शुरुआत करते हैं. I'm going to, for the sake of our audience, Didi brother, request you to share a little bit about your organization and the present role you play.
Sure. Well, Raj, before I do that, let me mention how happy today I am, being in conversation with you. And that is scary also. I wasn't aware till the last minute that you're going to host. And knowing you and how well read you are, and the kind of work that you do, I had my own fears. So my request to you is please do not ask me very tough questions.
अगर टेक टफ क्वेश्चंस होंगे भी, फिर मैं उसके ऐसे गाने बनाऊंगा that it will become easy for you.
I am sure you have that rare knack of, uh, putting things. Great. Well, about my organization, what should I say? I mean, fantastic, right? This is my 15th year with NTT NetMagic. We were a small startup, 40 crore, 160 people, 2007. I never thought that I will be here for so long. Normally my span is 3 years, but the leader or great leader, the founder Sharat Sanghi, really kept us glued to him and his passion and his enthusiasm and entrepreneur nature. Every day has been a great ride. So NetMagic went on to, we had wonderful, it's a startup then, and we had multiple investors, whether it is Cisco or Nokia or Fidelity or Nexus Capital. Okay, and 2012, we entity invested into us. It acquired 74% then, and subsequently today we are 100% entity holdings company. Now we are going to this, as I talk, to fourth global integration. Now we're part of entity data. So in India,
Super.
we are primarily into data center services. We are one of the early uh, companies which launched cloud in India, and today still we are in cloud. I am on totally on cloud today. Terrific, and we offer end-to-end managed services and entire networks services, and information security services. But hosting is our major, you know, revenue stream, should I say?
Superb. Your role, please. Little
My
bit
role.
about.
Well, when I joined as a head of HR, went on to become CHRO, and this April I have taken up a new role as senior director. Uh, I am part of a group called Facilities, Sustainability, and Resilience.
Wow.
Okay, we have pan India over 2.1 million, uh, should I say, square feet, 12 to 13 data centers across India. Uh, we will be launching a couple of more in next few years. It's a massive work that is ahead of us, especially in data center business.
Superb. Very interesting. And I think it is the cloud in the company that, attracted you there.
It is actually Sharat's simplicity, down to earth nature, and his
Yes.
dreams,
Yes.
that
Superb.
really made this happen for me.
Excellent. So we come to our theme for the day, which is about well-being. We'll come to HR later. All right.
Sure.
I want to ask you this. This term well-being is something that we have heard a lot more in the last 10 years, perhaps, and
Sure.
much more in the last few years. Is
Yes.
there a certain meaning that you draw from it? What does it mean to you?
Well, to be honest, well-being has been. It's like in HR, we are we are married to two terms. One is attrition. Second is recruitment. War for talent. Okay. Well-being was more like a very soft word, very abstract word for me for a very long time. And then over years, we were able to see the finer aspects of well-being. Right. Initially, it
Right.
started with, of course, primarily offering insurance coverage, medical reimbursements, and things like that. But subsequently, it dawned to me that it is more than that. Whether it is financial well-being, whether it is mental well-being, of course, health is there. But now, last 2 years have been really defining. Last 2.5 years, ever since COVID, stuck us. Now today, it is spiritual well-being also. So it's for me, it's a 360. I see that as an entire planet by itself. Well-being in every aspect.
Right.
Yeah. So
Superb.
restricting our definition to one particular sector may not be
Understand.
a wise thing to do. It's a
Understand.
complete well-being.
Yes. So the first thing, friends, that I am hearing from our guest today is this, that earlier well-being in organizations was a welfare thing, right?
Correct.
And welfare means, all right, it is important, but finally it's an extracurricular. And
True.
more importantly, if I can call it that, it was a cost, probably not too much.
Mhm.
Now it has taken center stage. And imagine, this is probably a recurring theme I want to tell you, brother, that has been coming up in every session, that how the pandemic has changed our mindset for good in this direction.
True.
So, and today the meaning has, become broader and broader. And we can't even start saying that, okay, here is where it starts, here is where it ends.
Yeah. Correct.
And you can probably say what well-being is not, but it's very hard to define well-being. So that's super. So I want to pick on a particular angle, Diri, which I have seen with you. All right. You've been very active with the Rotary. And I feel that is also something, it's my sense of it, that is also something that contributes to your well-being. Could you share a little bit on what all has happened and how you've been so active with these guys for so long.
Well, the story goes back to early 2000 when I, in a newspaper, found that Rotary has this program, foreign exchange, where people, you go to one country, somebody comes, visits your country, that program I wanted to enroll as anybody else. But then when I met the president of the club, I realized this is a huge organization. And those days I couldn't afford the membership fee. So I took a sort of 3-4 years to, reach there where I said, okay, I can join. It wasn't very high then, but still, we started in a very small way in our lives, right? And got lucky. So 2007, when I joined NetMagic, same year I joined Rotary as well. So I have completed 15 years with Rotary. Rotary is primarily a sort of NGO, world's first top rated, last consecutive 10 to 12 years. Charity Navigator has, you know, uh, certified Rotary is the top number one charity organization in the world.
Wow.
That means our administration cost is bare minimum. If you donate 100 rupees to Rotary, 98 rupees or 95 rupees goes to the community. 5 rupees is largely for administrative cost.
What is the
As
kind of work you all do?
Yeah, primarily it is starting from peace to environment to water to sanitation to health, communities, building communities. Today, it's a 110-year-old organization, and we have over 1.2 million members across 44,000 clubs.
Wow.
Right? In
Amazing.
Mumbai alone, we have close to 120 clubs. In Thane district, another 75 clubs. They had to bifurcate both these two districts a few years ago because the size has become so big. Right? We have over, say, roughly about 14,000 members in between Thane and Mumbai. Right? So
Superb.
we do everything, right, from scholarships to education to literacy to health, water, sanitation, building toilets, okay, supporting running schools.
Lovely. Tell me, how has being in, first of all, what causes have you got in, because it's a huge spectrum, right, that Rotary is
Right.
working across. कोई एक या दो चीजें where you have been involved, number one. Secondly, has this contributed to you feeling good,
Oh,
your wellness?
absolutely. Uh, I'll take the first question first. Causes have been largely in the health space, blood donation, ENT camps for community. During COVID, we used to provide food to people. We raised over, of course, my wife was the president then. I was director with her, helping her. She did, of course, as a president over projects worth over close to 6 crores. Imagine, we raised funds during COVID. We used to feed people. We used to provide COVID infrastructure, should I say, medicines, oxygen concentrators, cylinders, you name it, I think. And then the second area is uh, we do a lot of, we sponsor schools, for slum children. We help them with, things that they need. Uh, building toilet blocks for in remote places, doing solar projects in where, you will be surprised, 100 kilometers from Bombay, there are small villages where there is no light, no water. So we did solar projects for them. So their first time in their life, they've seen light in the village. It was great, you know, moment for us. Witness how thrilled they were to see lights. That night they didn't sleep. Everybody was on the street.
That was
So those
wonderful.
kind of projects, yes.
Tell me a little
And
bit about how it made you feel.
oh, the feeling is amazing. Number one is you are giving. The joy of giving is something which you can't describe. We have to experience, right? So giving is seeing people happy, bringing a smile on their face, something you're doing. Though we say it is, we have given in real sense, we actually can't give anything 100% in life. Whatever you give, it comes back.
Superb.
you know. So therefore, that's number one. Talking about Rotary, you are like anybody else. Though you're a president of the club or a district secretary or an assistant governor, nobody, people are doing selfless, and they are CEOs, big business honchos. They are part of your team. They are working for you. They report to you. You need to really get support and help and cooperation from them. So it really improves your leadership skills,
Superb.
ability to work with people for a common cause. So definitely it improves you as a leader. It improves you to reach out to communities, so your communication skills. It gives you access to everybody, the small to the big. Mr. Bachchan himself is a honorary member. Ratan Tata ji is himself is an honorary member.
Superb.
It gives access to each and every day. And there's so much of inspiring work that is happening when you see there's so much grander, great things around you. Some
Yes.
of it really touches you, and you
Beautiful.
tend to also, it rubs on you, and you tend to become better and better with days. And you have
Superb.
one last thing in
Yes.
Powai. If you just walk around the streets and people just recognize you, that is a downside. Actually, I would rather be anonymous, do my thing, and move on. But Powai is, today I have a family of 100 plus people there.
Wow. Lovely.
Fantastic.
By the way, your the president when you joined, which is
Yes.
Mrs. Girija Deshpande, is very actively chatting on this chat this our,
Oh really?
and she's reminding that pediatric heart surgeries, fruit tree projects,
Oh, right, right.
all of these have
I missed
happened. So
that.
thanks very much, Girija, first of all for tuning in, and secondly for adding, folks. I want to repeat some of the insights which brother gave us. Number one, you cannot give without receiving back a part of it. All right, this again is a theme that has come again and again, and is so desi in its making, because we are a land which believes in what we call as dana. And I've been clarifying, brother, to a lot of people that dana does not mean the charity between haves and have nots. No,
Exactly.
dana is that which continues between man, or rather human,
Yeah.
and the rest of the universe,
Yes.
just the way we are receiving. So it is merely keeping in circulation what you are anyways getting.
Right.
So koi badi baat nahi hai. This is number one that Didi said. The second thing that he mentioned is that uh, how it makes you, it inspires you and makes you better.
Correct.
Now think about it. It's so powerful. You cannot just be an audience if you have a cause there, because that cause is continuously inspiring you. Automatically, you probably are at the periphery initially, and then you come closer and closer to this
Yes.
cause, right? So that's very beautiful. So remember, here is one aspect that we are learning. Wellness is not just about me.
Yes.
Wellness is about those around, which also contributes to me.
Yes. It's part of
Right?
it.
I'm going to
Yeah.
come back to this later, but beautiful. Thanks for sharing this.
Right.
So I'm going to come to another angle of uh, wellness, which is rather unusual, but which again I associate with you whenever your biodata is seen. And one of the things which some friends may be knowing, but there may be audiences who have no idea about this, is about your insatiable appetite for learning. Okay, so there has been phenomenal learning alongside this career, if I may call it, of the last 15 plus years, but 15 years in entity net magic, as you shared. So could you share a little bit about how learning has inspired you, made you better, made you feel better, added to your confidence? Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, uh, my father, he's now 94. He used to work as a teacher, very inspiring teacher, and very strict. उनके डर से हम लोग पढ़ते थे. There's no way you can fail, you know. So school happened out of fear. of father. Okay, so we got good marks, top three in the class, top four, right? Intermediate also opened the degree is where I literally work because though I am scared of mathematics, but I ended up studying physics, chemistry, mathematics, electronics, and went on to do my MSc in electronics and MPhil in electronics, and that is where uh, I also got my engineering degree alongside. Okay, I these degrees were like the cosmetic ornaments for me. Every year I had to do a degree or a diploma. I got close to about 7, 8 diplomas. Then I went on to do my MBA and then PhD. Right? It was more like adding on to. But did it really? I wonder if I do. Did it directly help me? Very difficult to say. But definitely indirect benefits are too many. It opens your horizon. It keeps you. It makes you absorb things better. Today I have a better perspective. I'm like a sponge. Just leave me. I just soak into it, and it it's in me. I can't just anything for that matter. And I went on to do so many courses, and it really brought the learning. Also makes you humble, by the way, right?
Superb.
And when you play with it, then it becomes knowledge, wisdom, right? Information. The more you play with it and use it judiciously, wisely, it becomes your wisdom, and that adds to you making the right decisions, taking the right position.
Superb.
You know, so it really makes that. It
Wow.
it continued even after that. The entity I organized last year. Uh, I was declared. They wanted us to do LinkedIn courses. COVID में सबको busy रखना था. So our global headquarters they launched a program called 40 hours, 40 days. 40 you must every day 1 hour you have to do courses. You won't believe I have got 434 certifications from LinkedIn, SHRM. You name it. All the HR and other things. And I
Amazing.
was I was rated as number one learner. I was given a big recognition and gift, right? So it continues even today. It's fantastic.
Superb. Have you tried applying for some record? लिम्का बुक
Oh,
में तो आ ही जाएगा.
then I realized I don't have Harvard degree. I said, so Harvard ka degree lete. I did Harvard course, correspondence. Can you beat it? Oh my goodness. What a
Yes.
joy.
Amazing. Folks, I'm going to repeat some of the insights shared, okay? It's not merely about the joy of learning. Of course, that's there. But here are the four things that he said. Number one, it widens your horizons. You think and see much more than you did earlier. Number one. Number two, he says, the more you learn, the more you become a sponge for learning. That means you can probably absorb much more than what you did earlier.
Great.
Number two. Number three, learning makes us humble, my dear friends. Now, it's possible that those who keep just gathering knowledge, may sometimes also make them arrogant. But I feel that true learning, as again in the Indian context, is about that which makes you realize what more I need to know, what more I don't know.
Sure.
That's number three. And fourth is, he said, learning is not that. What you do with that learning, playing with that knowledge to have your own realizations is what adds to your wisdom. So don't stop at knowledge,
Yeah,
move ahead to application and develop your own wisdom. No two people will have the same perspectives about that knowledge.
absolutely.
All right. So, folks, learning is a great pathway to wisdom, says Didi. All right. This is number two, and to wellness, of course, which is very, very important. At this stage, I want to remind people that we will wait for your questions. We will take it later. But if you have any thoughts, any questions to ask our guest today, you can already start putting it on the chat, and I will start taking it another 15 minutes. Okay. All right. Now, one more thing. So, I'm going to pick all those things, and you will, folks, audience will be my testimony that I have no tough questions to ask GD. In fact, this must be his most pleasurable session ever, right? Because people ask very, very, difficult things, corporate world, sustainability, ye wo. I am asking everything that he already is. So, how can I not ask this? I have noticed that no matter how much career may have progress, responsibilities may have increased, uh, more projects, initiatives, may have been given to you over a period of time, you always make sure that your hobbies do not get compromised by work. Or let me put it this way, you make space for both. Whether you sleep or not, I don't know, because sometimes वो 2-3 बजे भी गाना आ जाता है. But here is what I want to really ask you. So, how do your hobbies contribute to your wellness? And how is there any correlation you found whether it makes you better at work?
Thank you, Raja. I think you're taking me back to my childhood. And I love the conversation, especially the way you paraphrasing every time I give response to a question that you ask. And I'm also discovering bigger and better things there. Anyway, coming back to the question, I was in third standard. Like I said, uh, I joined this school from a small school to a Methodist school, big campus, 100 acres campus. And people just, "Arey, koi ladka aaya hai," right? Nobody would know me. But one day, it was a PT class, and we went there. It was a big campus. Suddenly, it started raining. We couldn't come back to class. We were sitting under a tree, and the teacher wanted to keep the class busy, and वो अपना game चालू किया उन्होंने. You have to do when your name is called out, you have to do something, or recite a poem, do some acting, or do something.
Sure.
कुछ ना कुछ करना है. So when my turn came, I was asked to sing. Until then, I had never sung. So that Samuel sir was very strict. वो मारते थे. He was very strict. तो उनके डर से मैं बोला, I sang a song, and it turned out to be a good song. And since that day, next day say classmates, ये गाता है, ये गाता है. So whenever there was a free class, Madam Deepak sings. तो मेरे को जबरदस्ती गाना पड़ता था. And suddenly, out of unknown person becomes known in the school, first in the class and in the
Wow.
school. Because now people know you, you cannot get poor marks. You have to get, otherwise, if anonymity actually blessing. If you don't get good marks, nobody knows you, it doesn't matter, right? But when people know you, then you better study well. So I started studying well. When I started studying well, and we used to have this, our extracurricular activities, debating, extempore, essay writing, you name it. तो अरे हमको वो भी करना है. तो I used to actually participate. The more people know, yes, ये तो सभी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन games भी खेलना है. So I started playing football. So the hobby, actually, when you have, each of us is very gifted. Unfortunately, we don't realize. Each of us has something special about us. We need to see what is that I am good at, other than studying, working, blah blah blah, right? So that kind of made me realize the other things that I can do. So I became a better speaker, better writer, better singer, better student, everything.
Wow.
And then singing never left me. So when I entered, change one college to another, one company to another, first thing I would do is look for an opportunity to sing, because that way suddenly people will know you. So I never miss an opportunity to sing. Just a few years ago, I think this is fourth year now, I have been singing. I had my favorite 10, 15 songs. I would rattle off, and that was enough. वो अपना खजाने में था. But today, after 4 years, I have recorded close to about 4,500 songs, cover songs. And I got my voice accidentally, just about that particular day. It was, I think, a weekend. I started singing. I came across this app called Smool and Star Maker. So I just, मैंने एक लिया. Then that song, it was a joy to hear you sing on a track, and you are listening, and it gives a great thrill. That day, non-stop, 18 hours, I sang. First
Wow.
few songs I sang, then I changed different. अरे किशोर दा का गा सकते हैं, कुमार शानू वो भी I can sing, Mukesh वो भी गाया. Then I said, Rafi साहब का गाना गाना चाहिए. It is very difficult to sing him. And sudden and strangely, I was able to sing his songs. When I said, अरे गा सकते हैं, then I took his most difficult songs. Luckily, my throat खुल गया तब उस दिन. It was a magical hour for me. 27 songs that day I recorded one day.
Superb.
Fantastic.
Wow. Tell me, is there anything you don't have in thousands? इतने courses, इतने गाने, itne bapre, amazing. All right, it looks like in, so I must say this before I paraphrase once again what we learned from this, but I must say you're actually giving data to the phrase that we hear all the time, my dear friends, that it is the life that we put in the years and not the years that we have in our life.
Good. Well
तो
said.
ऐसे
Well
लग
said.
रहा है ना कि पिछले एटलीस्ट जब से मैं जाना हूँ 20 साल में ही हैज packed much more than 20 years. Okay, amazing. Such good fun and so much to learn from you. Okay, now I want to repeat two or three of the learnings he gave. So sometimes the fear of a bad thing, in this case, the trashing by a strict teacher, can be a huge positive. है ना?
Yes.
अगर
Yes.
वो उस दिन छड़ी या whatever he used to use, maybe just a threat,
Yeah.
नहीं बोलते थे तो शायद गाना बाहर निकलता ही नहीं था.
Bilkul.
So that's number one. So folks, that tells us that challenges are good and it brings to life something that we may not have discovered earlier and contributes to our wellness. This is number one. Number two, as he said, each of us has a talent. Do we take the opportunity as he does to put out that talent? Because once again, like we said earlier, वो talent सिर्फ आपके लिए नहीं है, दूसरों के लिए भी है. तो आप तो खुश होगे ही, बट दूसरे भी खुश होंगे, है ना? So this is one more learning that we have. Third, which is said, when we get involved in one kind of activity wholeheartedly, it widens our horizons, as you had mentioned in the case of learning, and makes us better at more things. So please understand this, dear friends, that wellness is not one activity, like जैसे बहुत कुछ, and I'm going to come to this a little later, Didi, but I'll say Mahindra में जब हम लोग बोलते थे, of course that time wellness was not such a big thing. This I'm talking about 20 years back and a little 2-3 years. So wellness activity meant for us terrace में सब लोग योग करेंगे, है ना?
Right.
It was good, not that it wasn't.
Yeah.
But boss, that's just one thing.
Just one thing.
है ना? Now we are saying that wellness is not necessarily also just what you associate with health.
Yeah.
Wellness is the state of your mind. So what is it that grows you from within? वो गाना हो, बात करना हो, लिखना हो,
Yeah.
all of this are value. So thanks so much. We've started getting questions. I'm going to come to that in just a bit. But here is therefore one more thing I want to ask you. Now it goes without saying that having been in this field for so long, I mean, HR, uh, you've been part of many communities,
Yeah.
including, of course, our own community more than HR. Okay. And we had a MTHR HR leaders retreat just about a month back. And similarly, we had retreats in the past, one or two, which you attended. Okay. I want you to connect this with our theme of wellness. Is this valuable? Is this important? Does this make us feel better? Because as leaders, are we supposed to just be in offices and show हम लोग कितना अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं? What's your take?
I think multiple things the takeaways have been more than a dozen actually. I will definitely mention some of them. Number one is thanks to social media, today we don't get enough time to really catch up. We are virtually engaged, but we never sit, share a table, have a conversation like we are talking now, right? So one
Superb.
is you're getting a getaway, moving from the your day-to-day world, going to nature, right? That's number one. Number two, when you meet there, so many people, everybody's accomplished, very unique, and the sharing, the kind of things that we discuss there, the finer aspects of life, and there is each one contributes so much, and especially the last one was so rich. I tell you, terrific it was. So the
Superb.
learning, shared learning, is awesome. Third,
Superb.
third is I get to, when I'm sharing that tent with one gentleman, I've known him for more than 25 years, but we never had that kind of talk. रात के 2 बजे हम लोग बैठ के we were talking about बातें करते करते सो गए हम लोग, you know. So you come to know a person very intimately as a friend. Arey, this person is there in front of me, but I never, saw that side of him. That is the third. And fourth, the way the sessions were conducted. I think you are naturally gifted, and you put things across so well. You are, should I say, you stick to your brief. You are very particular, disciplined about timing. kahan tak le, and suddenly not losing the track of the discussion, getting things so that you get to see, Arey, this is the way it should be done, and you bring in
Superb.
so much wealth about the Indian heritage.
Yes.
That's amazing. Not none of us can do that. It's fantastic.
Superb. Wonderful. So, folks, those who are part of this community, I'm not talking with just more than HR folks. Definitely, yes, we are the hosts of this dialogue. But I'm talking about HR community at large.
Yes.
Because we are talking about HR well-being, and that's going to be my next question anyways, before I go to the questions, before I go to audience questions. But folks, what do we learn from community? Let's pick from what Didi brother just shared. Number one, folks, let's move from the virtual to the real from time to time. All right. The virtual world, of course, makes one feel good, but it's not enough. We are humans. We are made to connect heart to
Yeah.
heart. वो heart to heart ठीक है, मतलब अभी मुझे बहुत मजा आ रहा है दीदी के साथ. But it would be greater joy if we are sitting across each other, chatting, having chai. That's number one. Number two, he said, everyone, when you meet people, you realize everyone is accomplished, experienced, etc., etc. So we also get inspired. We also learn in the process. Number three, he says, learning, which is individual, now becomes shared, my dear friends. We have something, others have something. क्या आप उसको कलेक्टिव बनाते हैं या नहीं?
Correct.
So, folks, let's not just be part of groups. Let's become contributors. Let's be gainers. No problem. No issue with that. Let's also be contributors. Okay, just the way we have been speaking. Last thing which he added is that you may know people for decades
Yeah.
and still not know the person so well. राइट आपको नाम पता है, प्रोफेशन पता है, टाइटल पता है, कंपनी पता है, but you still may not know the human besides that. So very important, dear friends, that we leverage the idea of community and develop relationships stronger. Okay, so
Great.
that brings me to the last question before I go to audience questions, brother. And I've got now 3 audience questions. Okay, the first one, I mean, the question that I have, the first one before the audience question, last one from me, is that, so is there, if I were to say that, give me 3 things which you would say how we can contribute to the well-being of our own fraternity besides what we have discussed, could be also connected to what we have discussed, what would it be? And since you mentioned Indian wisdom, I want to connect with जो आपने सबसे पहले बोला, that well-being once upon a time meant insurance, certain welfare policies, etc. है ना? Now, if you see, very interestingly, people may not get into this, but LIC का क्या कैच फ्रेज है? योगक्षेम वहाम्यहम.
Yes.
और ये श्री कृष्णा ने बोला था. And योगक्षेम, friends, is about well-being. So let's connect I would ask this question, therefore, to you. How do we contribute to the Yogakshema of our own fraternity? What would be your top three suggestions?
I think it is very deep rooted. One is, it starts with you well-being, right? Your own physical, mental, spiritual, financial, every which way, right? Take the family. In the family, I need to take up the family that I have, right? In the family, in the society. If I am supportive, helping, cooperating, responsible citizen, good citizenship, you know, society may, right? Spread a good word, right? And if somebody is having an issue, see if you can help. That well-being limited to society. Likewise, if you go to your company, in the company also, how do you deal with your colleagues? How do you treat them? You may be in big position, right? Sometimes you want to reprimand a person, do it in with grace, do it in private, right? uh, 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 Encourage good behavior, encourage fellowship at workplace, help people. Not everybody can do things faster. Volunteer to help at workplace. I'm talking about
Yes.
being is one of the things that really always inspires me. Reward. Being a good manager itself is a great reward to your team member. Caring, right? These things are very important. Being transparent, fair, respectful. That's about the company. Now talk about the fraternity. I'm talking, let's say, about, I'm if I'm member of so many WhatsApp groups, number of HR professionals, other professionals, right? Within that community, how are you encouraging each other? How are you supporting each other? How are you, contributing your share of experience, insights? Make that conversation richer. Take that discussion to a different level. Raise the bar.
Superb.
For instance, there used to be a time, you know compensation survey करते थे तो लोग. You want to know about a practice, simple survey करो, share करो लोगों के साथ. Talk about a good practice, uplift the discussion, uplift your life. That's this is what you can do.
Superb. मैंने तीन पूछे. In true DD style, he gave in multiples.
No, because for
Okay.
me it is one at all. Actually, it is one. Taking the cycle.
Okay, let's repeat them. They are worth repeating. So, everyone who's tuned in early, late. First one, begin with yourself. So, HR का well-being करना है, खुद से शुरुआत कीजिए. And
Yes.
when we are saying खुद से शुरुआत कीजिए, we don't mean become selfish. We mean start with enhancing, improving yourself. Then start treating your colleagues with affection, with respect, with grace. Number two. Number three, can we bring in simple values like encouragement, helping, caring to the professional space, my dear friends? ये केवल फैमिली के लिए नहीं है, right? We hear now more and more, horror story, if I can call it them, all the time, downsizing, ye, wo, fear. Folks, there are better things in life. Even if that continues, as HR, can we help each other? There was one thing that really touched me, and I'm going to put it in a certain way. Being a manager of a team is a privilege, my dear friends. Honor that privilege. You yourself, as a manager, should be a reward for your team members. That's what we heard from our guest today, and that's amazing, right? How can I be the best manager that there can be? कि मेरा जो टीम मेंबर है वो याद रखे एंड से यार डीडी जैसा मैनेजर नहीं, राइट? नो मैटर वेयर आई गो. Last but not the least, he said, raise the bar of conversations, raise the bar for your community, raise the bar for the group that you are part of. Such beautiful stuff, Dee. So, folks, please add on your questions, but I'm going to combine two questions that have come in. Okay, and then I'm going to read a few comments. One question is from Raman, who is also a very active MTHR team member. He's asking, so with so many different talents that you have, was HR a career planned or did it just happen accidentally? And Girija is also asking, if not HR, what other profession would have made you equally happy? If you wish, you can combine these or respond separately.
Sure, sure. I think HR was not a conscious choice. Okay. I began working as a tutor, making some 400 500 rupees, joined a college when I was doing my
Wow.
research as a lecturer, you know. So I was in teaching for a couple of years. Okay. And then those were the days, Harshad Mehta days, people making a lot of money, shares. Then I said, "हम इतने पढ़े लिखे हैं," and meager salaries of teaching is not very rewarding. Other than, of course, very satisfying financially, not so rewarding. Scales now today are better. I said, "Yeah, we must be on the other side of the." So I said, I must go on to the industry side now. Classroom se bahar aate hain. So I happened to come across an ad in Tata for a technical officer job because I had all so many degrees and technical qualifications. Luckily, Rajiv was so impressed with me. He offered me as a team lead. I had joined as an engineer. He said, "You become the team lead. You have got this experience." So Tata, I was there for 4 5 years. But then I had to, the learning bug never left me. I completed 4 साल में मैंने 4 diplomas and वो सब कर डाले वहाँ पे. And because I was the team lead, I started, working with people. And I said, "Yeah, ये बहुत हो गया. I need to get some. HR is one profession which I can." So
Wow.
that's how I got into data matrix, into HR. And that
Super.
was today, when I look back, it's been a big, big ride, 20 25 years in HR.
Yes.
Very, very this
So
thing.
we have, I think, one similarity in this. I also came into HR the learning way.
Correct. It is
Almost similar. There was a time when I used to, uh, and folks, I know this is a public chat, but it's also a fun chat and it's a dialogue. So मैं पढ़ाता था computer hardware and electronics in Jet King School of Electronics,
yes.
and I said, this is nice, this is fun, and that led to training, and then training got me more and more interested in people. So we just discovered some commonality. Okay,
Yes.
so folks, I want to tell you, please continue your questions, and let's make it meaningful for our entire community. But here is a question that I have for you. Okay, this, if no more questions come, then we will
Take.
close on the next question. All right, but
Yeah.
here's the question I have for you. I don't want people to feel that हम सिर्फ अच्छे चीजों की बात करते हैं.
Mhm.
All right, so here's the question that I have, is there a time that you can remember when you were really low in your career, and what brought you out of it? How did you lift yourself, or who helped you come out of it? What was it?
Well, it
The only
was.
difficult question.
No, of course, it's important. You can't miss. Life is not all bed of roses. So we cannot forget that, because
That's right.
only crisis will bring out the best in you, right?
Absolutely.
So here was, I unfortunately I had my manager, the CEO of the company. Somehow he never liked me. So it was a pain to go to office, but जाना पड़ता था. I had a car, but I never felt like going in a car, because car में जाते हो वहां जाके you are bashed. That I used to have shoulder pain and body aches. Therefore it's very important to be very, very matured, well behaved at workplace, friends, with our colleagues and everybody. So unfortunately वो हुआ था, but I kept on working. I think resilience is something which comes naturally to me. Of course, family, and there were some good people who gave me hope. I tried 30 jobs that year, in 1 year.
Wow.
30 interviews, including Mr. Bharwani,
Yeah.
I went to his house and met Boston's Mr. Shah, and I tried various professions where if not HR, क्या करते हैं करके. And
Superb.
he said, if you don't get me a post box tomorrow, you don't come to office. Next
Okay.
day promptly, I just gave him my resignation. Okay, because post box company नहीं रहता. Post box is kept in post office. You have those post box number होता है ना.
Yes.
Those days
Got
we used
it.
to source people. Luckily, my chairman came to know Deepak has resigned. He said, "Don't worry, come to the corporate."
Acha.
He took me in the corporate, and now I was auditing these guys' work. So I think life brings out. So that was the only low, but I had my own share of good times there. But definitely
Superb.
yes,
So, folks, the learning from here is bad times will happen. If
yes,
you don't have any lows, it's probably not real.
true, true.
आजकल तो सिर्फ सोशल मीडिया के कमेंट्स पढ़कर ही we start getting low. Enough for depression. All right. But yes, we are talking about those that happen in our lives. And Didi brother just shared that how, every individual will have lows. So one is developing the ability to bounce back. It's not easy, but can be learned. And I feel just as he said, it came naturally to me. I think it is a quality deep down in all humans.
Correct.
But do we use it? There is a reservoir inside. Do we use it? Number one. Number two, the support of people around us. Someone somewhere at work, in family, in our circles, are there to help us, friends. So build your connections. And I don't mean connections in the influence kind of way, but build true human connections, right? They are the ones who will support us, who will be there for us, who will back us when we're in our low times. So one concept of wellness that we learn very clearly is build your own set of well-wishers, my dear friends. You contribute to them, they will contribute to you. Okay.
True.
One last question which remained unanswered. My apologies, and this is a very important one because Girija has said her question is not answered. Which is, if not HR, what other profession would have made you equally happy?
Well, I have this. I don't know how uh, fair or correct it is to assume, but I have a deep belief that I can do this, I can do that. Uh, so many today tell me, Deepak, you should have taken up singing. Yeah. Why did you not learn classical? Why did you not get into singing? You know, and marketing is something I thought I can do it because just because you know English, you can talk, but it, that's not what you can do. But today, after so many years of work experience,
Yes.
the ability to see the unseen,
Wow.
the ability to understand the unsaid, reading between the lines, right?
Yes.
That perspective is I'm developing now. So today I think I can take any business role. I can take multiple roles I can do. ऐसा मुझे लगता है, लेकिन सच है पता नहीं. But yes, I
So,
think I will die as a teacher is one thing I know for sure. I will die as a teacher. That is the
superb.
profession. Teaching is very noble. And last, I think Raj, I must acknowledge about the beautiful thing that is said. Human beings are are born to. We have that survival instinct. Let us not, ignore it. It is deep power we have, right? So we need to only harness that capacity.
Lovely. Lovely.
Otherwise, life is beautiful.
Superb. So, folks, I'm going to close today's conversations in this manner. Let's take a few moments post this session, if you will, and just close our eyes and ask ourselves, what gifts or talents am I not using for the world? You know,
Very nice.
it's
Yes.
such a beautiful question. Ask yourself, my dear friends, that what is it, what gift do I have with which I can make the world happy? मैं तो खुश होऊंगा ही उससे, but I can make the world happy. What is it that I have still not used. I want to share this with you, audiences, and my friend Diri brother, that wherever we have done work, when I say we, me and my team have done work, we found that authentic work has brought out things out of people which they also discovered कि यार ये था कहीं तो अंदर लेकिन मैंने नहीं किया.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So we don't need DD's spanking teacher to bring out our gift. As
I know.
HR and as a community folks, spend time with yourself every single day, or at least once a week, asking yourself, what more can I do? What gift do I have that I can make meaningful for the world? Thank you. Yeah, Didi has something to say before we close, my dear
Yes,
friends.
yes. I think a couple of things. Number one, being nice, being authentic, right? That
Lovely.
that being honest, that makes things life much easier. Of course, mistakes do happen. Accept them. But above all, I think uh, if you have respect for people, that really
Lovely.
will help. Most
So,
important,
yes, sorry.
most important, gratitude.
Yes.
Whatever I claimed, I did that would not have been possible without the support, encouragement, and the endorsement from my colleagues, from my managers, from my team, my world around me. वो होता ही नहीं था. It is all because of the appreciation and encouragement, those envious eyes,
Superb.
prayers that really contributed to my
Wow.
becoming whatever little I have become. So I think we need to really give it back. Gratitude is something that will really take us to places. Thank you. Thank
So,
you, Raj, for this.
gratitude and appreciation, my dear friends. And I'm going to show it immediately, practice it immediately. I want to start by thanking, first of all, the Manaha Wellness team. Thank you, Sohini, Ria, Ashwinji, whoever has contributed to make this platform happen and today's conversation happen. Number one. Number two, I want to thank all those audiences who have tuned in and will tune in later to listen to the recording.
Yes.
Everyone, thank you so much. We are very grateful that you made it, even more lovely. I want to tell you there were lots of comments, Didi. I didn't read them because questions come the, लेकिन comments बहुत आ रहे थे. It's lovely. Very, very nice. Very
Uh,
interesting, right? And finally, my very humble thanks to the man who operates in hundreds and thousands, which is हमारे भाई, हमारे दोस्त, Didi. Thank you so much for making it such an interesting dialogue and conversation today. Meet you soon in
yes.
real and
Yes.
not just virtual.
Yes. I'll come
Bye,
with
everyone.
Kalina. Thank
Yes.
you again,
Any
Mara.
last
Thank you,
words,
Raj. It was wonderful.
Didi? Yes.
Yeah.